I want to get one thing clear about something I've learned related to emotional clarity and women. So, all my ladies, come to the front. This is for you. I'm really curious to get your feedback, hear your experiences. Back in the day, I was a good girl. You see personas or conditioning that might manifest as either a good girl or what I'm going to call a diva. So the good girl, which is what I was, is the silent, not going to start drama because if I'm easygoing, then I will deserve love. But if I'm a diva, it's the opposite. The diva is the interrupter. The diva is the I need to amplify myself so that I can be seen and heard because I'm tired of being ignored. Most women were not born good girls or divas. We became those versions of ourselves trying to either survive our environment, navigate social rules that we didn't make, but standing confidently in your own power, that's just high maintenance. Once I understood that I was the good girl, and there are women who are possibly a combination of good girl and diva. There are things that I recognize as a former good girl I haven't yet achieved, but I'm aware that they exist. So the good girl is kind, cooperative, agreeable, makes herself small so that she doesn't offend other people. So what this might look like is a woman who abandons self. She allows people to cross her boundaries. I don't want to be too loud. The diva is, let me make myself big so I can get attention. Everybody look at me. Everybody eyes on me. I want to not be ignored. I want to be heard. The good girl is, if I'm too loud, I won't receive love. I was the good girl, and I'm transitioning out of the good girl. Cost of the diva is that she believes that attention equates power. Her relationships might be unhealthy or non existent, and she will over bombard, just again trying to be heard because she wants to be the center. She wants to not be ignored. She doesn't want to be left out. She requires constant attention and might even be manipulative, whereas the good girl is manipulated. Now, let's talk about the sovereign. The sovereign doesn't need attention to feel power. She's already secure and confident in who she is and doesn't need that attention, nor will she shrink herself for others so that she can feel loved and admired. She already loves herself and admires herself. She doesn't need that external validation. She doesn't need to be loud or silence herself to feel validated. The sovereign has no need to feel respected or admired by others because she respects herself and she admires herself. So I learned that I was the good girl when I started learning about attachment styles. And for me, I learned that I was by default anxiously attached, which means I need validation, love. I need to be good to get love. I need to be quiet to get love. I need to make myself small when I'm around people that are insecure just so that I can be liked. I don't want to rock the boat. I want to avoid conflict. Now, it may not have been that extreme, but that's the gist of what my life experience was and how I was viewing the world. What changed for me was heartbreak. I've had a couple different times in my life where I experienced really deep, intense heartbreak. And that I was just fetal position. I don't want to feel this way anymore. So what I did was, as an achiever, a lot of air quotes here. You see all my air quotes. I'm an achiever, and I'm going to fix things. I'm going to figure it out and fix things. So I started researching him. What's wrong with him? Why doesn't he love me? Why doesn't he want to be with me? What is it that he's doing? Is there some reason that he? Until I realized, damn, what am I doing? What am I not seeing? Who am I? I know I'm a good person. I know I'm a loving person. So what did I miss? What did I miss? So my focus turned from what's wrong with him to, well, what's wrong with me? And it's not about what's wrong, it's about what are the growth opportunities or where are the areas that I can more closely evaluate to understand my situation and ensure that I don't feel this way ever again because it feels awful. So the game changer for me was finding the courage and the boldness to pick up the mirror and look at myself. And that's hard to do because you don't always think, well, let me just look at myself. It sometimes, at least in my experience, is what is wrong with that person or what did they do wrong to me? What I've learned is once I was bold enough to look in the mirror and accepting what I learned about myself, I was able to look at my mistakes And instead of judging myself, I viewed it as an opportunity for growth. Once I started allowing myself to be wrong and accept it and embrace it as a positive opportunity for growth instead of a failure, I practiced that and then was able to extend that same grace to others around me. This was an aha moment for me when I realized that I can simply sit back, recognize what offenses or actions they took, or maybe statements they said that wounded me, and not judge them for it, but simply look back with clarity and say, this is just misalignment. I don't need to judge. It's just misalignment. So once you start with the mirror and self awareness, everything begins to change. And it seems so simple, but it wasn't for me. It took me over 40 years before I realized that I needed to look in the mirror at my own behaviors and the way I was processing emotions, what I was doing to offend others, as well as how was I allowing people to cross boundaries. I realized I wasn't innocent. I realized that I would cut people off. I realized that I was overcritical. I realized that I would allow people to cross boundaries. I realized that I required external validation. I would be on the phone for hours, or constantly needing to talk to friends, constantly, instead of just sitting with myself, I had to constantly be checking in with friends and seeking validation and checkpoints with multiple people. I just couldn't be one with myself. I struggled with being centered in self. I was constantly communicating out instead of communicating in. Once I picked up that mirror, which is hard, or was hard for me, that's when my life changed. So I'll just share. It seems such a small tip, but for me, it was a game changer. Once I realized that I can't change people, but I don't have to judge them. I can simply say, we're not aligned. You made these choices. I view them as X, Y, and Z, but I don't have to judge you. We're just not aligned. We have different morals, values, actions, behaviors, whatever it is. In the words of Michael Jackson, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. So, that one step of looking at myself, picking up that mirror, that's where the game changer was. That's what brought a huge point of clarity to my life and more joy. It starts with recognition of you, not them. As always, I choose clarity over chaos, and I am constantly learning and just wanted to share. Maybe this will bring some clarity to you. Seems simple, but it was difficult for me.